After weeks of silence, a woman claiming to be a neighbor, just a few steps away from Gene Hackman's home, suddenly walked into the Santa Fe, New Mexico police station.
Times Oscar winner Gene Hackman, a known recluse in recent years, was seen in public. As we're learning incredible new details this hour about the circumstances surrounding his death.
Offering herself as a witness.
It's concerning that everyone in the house, including the dog, is...
Her testimony unveiled horrifying details, powerful enough to shake the entire justice system and force the police to reopen the investigation. The victim's family was left reeling, and the public buzzed with speculation. What did she see on that fateful night? And why had she waited until now to break her silence? Gene Hackman, a Hollywood legend who once electrified the silver screen with roles etched into memory, made a daring choice to walk away from the blinding glare of fame. He left behind wealth, accolades, and the spotlight, choosing instead a tranquil life in his twilight years in Santa Fe, New Mexico, with his lifelong partner, Betsy Arakawa. It was the peaceful retreat they'd always yearned for, a quiet reward after decades of tireless devotion to the art of film. While Hollywood's elite paraded their multi-million-dollar estates across Los Angeles or Miami, Gene Hackman planted his roots in a single cherished haven, a 9,000 square foot sanctuary nestled among the undulating hills of Old Sunset Trail in Santa Fe. This wasn't merely a home, it was his personal citadel, enveloped by 12 acres of isolated terrain, a world apart from urban chaos. With its striking southwest architecture, red adobe walls merging with the wild landscape, the residence stood as a flawless portrait of seclusion. But don't be deceived by its charm. It concealed a mystery no outsider could unravel. The estate was a perfect match for Hackman's nature, a man who prized solitude, shunning contact whenever possible. Known for his reserved demeanor throughout his career, Gene Hackman withdrew even deeper into himself after retiring, rarely engaging with those nearby. His retreat, perhaps rooted in a desire for calm, built an unseen divide, walling him off from the rest of humanity. As a result, neighbors say that during his time there, they only caught fleeting glimpses of him, perhaps spotting him behind the wheel of a weathered old truck, picking up a newspaper, or seated in a familiar coffee shop, his piercing, thoughtful gaze lost in reverie. No one dared approach, despite his gentle appearance. He didn't talk much, the shop owner once recalled, but every word he uttered lingered in your mind. Betsy, by contrast, was more outgoing, often seen chatting with locals at the market. Neighbors also revealed that Hackman never welcomed strangers at his door. His mansion was an unassailable stronghold. Even the friendliest neighbors had never crossed its threshold. His children were rare visitors, friends even rarer. He'd cut himself off entirely, as though safeguarding a secret too weighty to reveal. Why? What was he concealing within that vast domain? Over time, murmurs began to drift through Santa Fe. Gene Hackman's hiding something. Something no one's meant to discover. Why had he locked himself away so completely? What lay buried in that sprawling estate? At the time, it was all hearsay. No one could be certain, but no one could have foreseen the cascade of tragic events on the horizon, poised to shatter the serene dream Hackman had so painstakingly crafted. This was the end of a legend, but was it truly that straightforward? It started with weird signs the neighbors picked up 2 weeks before disaster hit. Gene Hackman, the guy always reading his paper in the garden each morning, just vanished. Betsy, who'd swing by the local market, was gone too. Lights blazed non-stop in their mansion, like someone was on edge, watching. No one knew what was brewing behind that locked gate. A neighbor shuddered, saying, "One late night, I heard a strange sound, not yelling, not fighting, but something creepy I still can't place." No one saw it coming. a hint of the horror ahead. Papers stacked up at Hackman's door, catching the mailman's eye. He thought, why's a guy who loves his news letting it pile up for days? Neighbors noticed too. No lights, no noise, no one in or out. Papers untouched. Spooked by the oddness, they finally called the cops to check it out. When police busted in, what they found rocked Hollywood to its core. Jean and Betsy's deaths didn't just stun the neighbors, they unleashed a storm of questions with no answers. Betsy, Jean's partner for over 30 years, his rock died in a mystery. She was there, head against the tub like she'd dozed off. Thyroid pills scattered around, some whole, some crushed. The room was too clean, no struggle, no wounds. So how did Betsy die? The coroner's report said hantavirus lung syndrome, a rare rodent disease that kills your lungs fast. Cops searched the mansion for clues. Flashlights probed every shadow, every crack, every spot rats might hide. But nothing. The garden got a full sweep too, yet no rat traces showed up inside. Then they found something, faint paw prints, old droppings, maybe months old, but no proof rats got in. So where'd Betsy catch it? And why didn't anyone notice in time? Neighbor Linda Brooks dropped a chilling nugget. February 10th, their lights flickered like crazy, like someone was moving room to room. Then it went black. That means Jean was likely there when Betsy got sick. So why no call for help? Why no hospital? The puzzle grew darker. Reports showed they'd been off the radar for a week. No missed calls, no visitors, no sightings, no one checking. Betsy's death hitting the news didn't clear things up, it made them messier. If no rats were inside, where'd the virus come from? Where was Jean, and what was he doing alone after? The truth stings. Gene Hackman was left alone in that huge house. A 90-year-old with severe Alzheimer's, ditched in his own home. No family, no friends, no help. He roamed his mansion, lost in a fog he couldn't grasp. He didn't know Betsy was gone, didn't know where she went. No food cooked, no water brought. The phone worked, but he didn't call. Maybe he forgot how. A Hollywood icon, trapped in his own cage. The big question burns, why wasn't Gene found sooner? Why'd no one check on him for almost 2 weeks? No maid, no gardener, no buddies. How do they vanish for weeks and no one blinks? Maybe Hackman's love for solitude, his chase for peace, built a wall too high. When tragedy struck, no one saw it or stepped in. It leaves a raw thought. Is total privacy a deadly trade-off? A viewer chimed in, I'm a nurse, 30 years in telemetry and cardiology. I deal with these patients daily. Pacemakers get tracked by phone. If his shut off, docs would know. Why didn't they check? Too many questions about Gene Hackman's death still hang. One fact cuts deep. A Hollywood legend, once on top, slipped away alone and broken. When this truth came crashing into the open, a tidal wave of public fury erupted. Many couldn't shake the feeling that Gene Hackman could have lived longer, much longer, if only someone had cared for him in time. Yet the brutal reality is undeniable. He was left alone, fading away in solitude within the walls of his own home. It's a gut-wrenching image, almost too painful to picture. A man of immense wealth, with millions to his name and 2 Oscars on his shelf, yet no one came to his rescue when he needed it most. Fans poured out their grief and disbelief in waves of comments. At his age, with his health, he should have had nurses dropping by, people checking in at least twice a week. He had the money. He could have had all the help in the world. What I can't figure out is how Hackman didn't have a single daily caregiver at his house. Another chimed in with a heavy heart. My dad's 93, nowhere near as wealthy as Hackman, and he's got 3 different caregivers rotating day and night. Then came a voice trembling with sorrow. I'm elderly myself. My family's toxic. My friends are gone. This is my future, and the future of millions more. This isn't just a tragedy. It's a harsh, unfiltered truth we're too afraid to face. One commenter laid it bare. I'm old. My family's poisonous. I haven't seen them in 6 years. My friends have vanished. So many seniors are completely alone. It's heartbreaking to know this could be my fate, and the fate of countless others. Gene Hackman was once a titan of Hollywood. He was the gritty cop in The French Connection, the cunning villain in Superman, the unbreakable hero of Unforgiven. But when the dazzling lights of Tinseltown dimmed, he faced a bitter reckoning, abandoned, overlooked, even by those he held dearest. His death peeled back layers of shadow, exposing troubling questions about neglect and apathy. The police closed the case, stamping it natural causes. But was that indifference natural too? Or was it the final, silent blow to a legend's heart? At Gene Hackman's memorial, the air buzzed with tributes. Classic scenes flickered across screens, and his timeless roles were hailed once more. Yet beneath the chorus of praise, a hollow space lingered, an ache no words could mend. Gene Hackman had it all: fame, a towering career, love and fortune. But in the end, he slipped away alone, unnoticed by a soul. Is his departure a wake-up call? Can glory and riches ever shield us from isolation? Or, when the curtain falls, are we all left standing solo in the dark? That's where today's video comes to a close, but the story of Gene Hackman will linger in our minds, tugging at our hearts. A legend who slipped away in solitude, a legacy shrouded in shadows. What do you make of this ending? Share your thoughts down in the comments. Will the full truth ever come to light? In the videos ahead, which case do you want us to investigate next? Paul Walker, Michael Jackson, Matthew Perry, Brittany Murphy, or perhaps another figure entirely? Please drop your suggestions in the comments below. Thank you so much. Buzz fans will see you next time. Safe travel.